What's up, nerds? So I am here again with my twin brother Marlon. Marlon, say hi.
What's up, nerds?
So we watched The Expanse season 5 finale. And Marlon, well, before we get started, I just want to say that if you like what I do here and you enjoy independent content here on YouTube, please consider subscribing to my channel. YouTube is constantly changing up their algorithms, and small channels like mine usually get pushed to the back of the line. So I please ask that you like, share, and subscribe, and I thank you in advance. And I also ask that you do this for any small YouTuber that you may like, and I'm pretty sure they'll appreciate it as well. So let's get started on this review. So Marlon, first question. What did you think about this episode?
This is the best episode of The Expanse to date.
Really?
Yep, this was the best episode.
Interesting.
I loved it. There's a few parts that I didn't really. I wish were different, but this was the best episode.
Interesting. I do not have that opinion. I thought it was the worst season finale, and I didn't.
What are you crazy?
Yeah, we'll get into it. I had a lot of problems with this episode, but not like but we'll talk about it. Let's talk about it and everything. Well, why don't we'll get into it. Okay, so we start off at the Rocinante, and Holden is checking out Naomi's ship and everything, and they're talking. And they're just like, listen, we're not going to be able to get to her ship kind of thing. And because there's, all these Belter ships coming after us. There's 5 of them. And he's like, well, we're going to fight them. So we give Alex and Bobby a chance to get to Naomi and save her. So it's basically a suicide mission. What did you think about this scene?
I mean, it was great. I like the part where they talk about just unloading their magazines in their face or something like that. That's a Bull's character. He's not my favorite, but I like it for the most part.
Right on.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was a good scene.
Yeah. So then we hop over to Naomi or to Drummer's ship. And, they're getting ready for the attack, and she's all, pissed that Naomi's still alive and first wife kept it from her, and they're getting ready for the attack and everything. So first wife, she's on her ship or one of the other ships, and, they're getting ready. And then Holden and them, they're just, again, they're just all like, hey, we need to push back and everything. And then they contact Alex and Bobby, and they're like, hey, we're gonna, fight them. You guys get to Naomi, and then you guys get away as fast as possible. And, and they're like, okay. So, and then they hit the juice, I think. Was it then that they hit then they hit the juice. So we pop over, and what did you think about this?
It's little filler moments for the whole episode, but it's the rescue mission is ongoing, so it's fine.
Right on. So we pop over to Naomi, and she is trying to hit this little lever and everything, and she keeps coming back in and out, and then she's checking the little mask that she set up a screen to see what ships are around. And she sees the Alex and Bobby, and so she gets in there, and she's like, I really got to do it this time. So she pops the lever, and it sends out a burst of stuff, and her ship starts going in a
a spiral.
Thank you for that. And then she's like, happy because she did it and everything. And then Alex and Bobby are like, it's in a spiral, it'll be a little difficult to latch on. And Bobby's all like, we can't latch on, it'll be super hard because it'll explode once we do. And then we pop back over to Holden and the crew, well, the Rocinante, and they're getting ready to fight the Belters. And they get in there, and they shoot off missiles and everything, and they're firing left and right and everything. And Lady Blue Lips, Drummer, she pulls a gun on her, and she's all like, you lied to me, yada yada yada, and she fires a missile at first wife's ship. And then you know, the Rocinante's like, hey, they're firing on each other, you know, let's take advantage of this. And then, you know, the other Belter guy, I don't know his name, Mohawk Man, he's all like fighting with Drummer, and then Blue Lips pulls the gun and everything. And then the female Belter, she hits her and she falls over and smacks her head on the pipe and dies. Then they fire all their missiles at the other ship and they, you know, basically destroy that one and the other cruiser that's not a part of their trio ships. And Marcus realizes that they betrayed them. And the Rocinante's all like, all right, let's take advantage and everything, yada, yada, yada. What did you think about this whole fight sequence?
So from beginning, a big part that we moved past was first wife is already telling the husband, one of the husbands, that he'll be the one helping her from now on because she won't let her. And he essentially says, you really think that we're going to be able to move past this? I think that, you know, this whole sequence of events, it shows that they've kind of accepted that their family is breaking apart. And that's kind of sad because you kind of get in other episodes, you get this sense of this community that they've built in their weird multi-marriage. I can't think of their
polyamorous
marriage. Yeah. So, but then moving into the battle, first off, I want to say whoever does the CGI for this show, and really the concept for the way that the ships look and everything, it's fantastic. Like, mm-hmm. The fact that Amazon is not moving forward with the show, I know that it's not particularly popular, I don't think, because I always ask people if they've watched it, and 99% of the time they say, "Oh no, I've never even heard of it." So I think I do wish, you know, we'll get into season 6 being the final one as of right now, mm-hmm. At the end. But yeah, the battle scene starting out was great. I loved that, you know, that Drummer, you know, comes to this consciousness where she can't betray Naomi. She fell in love with her a long time ago,
right?
And although you kind of saw it coming,
for sure,
from the get-go. I never thought for a second that Drummer would try to destroy the Rocinante.
Yeah, right on. So then we move over to Naomi, and she's all like, all right, they're coming. They can't board this ship. So she zips up her little suit. She puts the helmet on. She opens up the door. She gives herself one deep breath, and she just bolts it out the door. And she's all floating through space. And she's like, please find me kind of thing. And her mask is going and can't see any ships and everything or whatnot. And she's just floating. And then, so Bobby and Alex, they're shooting through space or whatnot. And Bobby's all like, hey, something's, you know, detached from Naomi's ship. And then they zoom in or whatever, and it's Naomi. And they're like, she's just floating through space and everything. So they get there and she's like, you know, kind of like giving up or whatnot. And then all of a sudden she, you know, hears them through the little intercom or whatnot. And she's like happy. And then Bobby grabs her. And then she's all like, Alex, we're coming back or whatever. And Alex has died. He had a stroke or whatever it is they have after you jump or whatnot. Too many jumps.
Too many G's on the body. He stroked out.
So I have to say that this was the weakest death scene I've ever seen. It was so freaking horrible. I understand, and we'll talk about it and everything, but I understand that there was problems behind the scenes, but you're telling me that you're going to do this character that way. I mean, it was bad. I freaking hated it. I'm super annoyed with the creators of the show for doing his death scene this way. I understand that you had to change stuff up. I personally wish they wouldn't have killed off the character, just recast. But I was super freaking annoyed with this death. What do you think?
So I was a little bit, so I kept wondering if they were just going to have Alex leave the show, or his character just leave, since Cass Anvar is, you know, in some controversy. But I didn't think that they were going to kill him off. I do think the death scene was a little bit weak. But
a little bit weak.
I mean, they explain that you can stroke out during these high G burns all the time. And Alex is an older member of the crew. So the older I mean, Avasarala almost died when she was in the Screaming Firehawk. So I mean, it was weak, but I mean, I kind of expected that they were going to kill him off somehow. I thought maybe he would sacrifice himself a little bit differently, saving Naomi, but I'm not I'm like okay with it, I guess.
Gotcha. Okay, so then,
But I do agree with you on the sense that I wish they would have just recast, or not even recast. I wish they would have just let Cass Anvar continue to play his role, because I'm a strong believer, and I think you are too, that your outside business of your career should not affect what you do for your job. He can still play Alex Kamal and still go through these accusations. He can do both. I don't understand why.
well, weren't the accusations of from him on set of this show?
I'm not. See, every time I try to read into it, I can't. I can't really get a lot of details.
Right.
So,
I haven't found a lot of details either.
So I don't know if it's on the set or not, but
well, this is what I have to say. I agree with you when it comes to your private life, that shouldn't affect your job. But if all of this took place on the set of The Expanse, then I would say you have to get rid of him in that instance, because if he did I don't know what he did, but let's just pretend he did something really bad to a fellow coworker. Then I say he needs to be removed, because I don't think it's fair to remove the fellow coworker when they were the one being victimized. Now, I say that as in, I don't know what happened, but if it's something that happened not on set of this show, then I don't think that he should be removed. And I do think that that's something that should be taken care of privately, like in a private life.
yeah, I just know that everything I've read, there's alleged sexual misconduct.
Right.
So,
right. Yeah.
But in the event that, let's say it is on, I do agree with you. If it happened on set, which, like I said, I haven't found a lot of details about what's going on, which Amazon might be trying to keep hush hush. But if it was on set, then they recast him. Fans will get through it. They have before in shows like this. So
right on. So then we move over to Marcus's ship.
Marco.
Marco, sorry. Then people are gonna get mad about that. Anyways,
yeah.
And Philip is all, he's sitting in his bunk and he's like, building something. He's got a gun and everything. And then Marco, he, realizes that Drummer and her crew betrayed him. And he's talking to Philip, and then Philip comes into the thing and he's all like, your mother, she's betrayed us and everything. And Philip's all like, so what? Who cares? The mission is the mission. We need to, keep going forward, because there's nothing we can do about it now. And Marco is all like, I'm proud of you. You've grown, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then he also asks the crew member from Drummer's crew that came on his ship, and then they traded for Lady Blue Lips, to meet him on deck 7 or whatever. And then we hop over to, what did you think about this scene between the father and son?
I thought it was good. I think it, like, when he's building and loading his gun, I think that mentally, like, the way I relate the scene is he is mentally preparing himself. Like, his dad told him his mom has left them again. He is just putting himself back in that mindset that he was in before she came onto the scene. Like, me and dad have a plan. Dad has a plan. And we need to stick to the plan. And I need to stop letting my emotions get involved with the work that we're trying to do. And I think it's whoever's right. I know that the two guys that wrote the book were heavily involved in writing this season, with the showrunner, and it's great. It shows like just how much the human mind can push itself. Like, it can take emotional things and push it into the background. Like, how many people have that family member that dies, and then there's always that one family member that steps up. They push all their emotions to the back, and they take care of everything. and then they have their moment later in private or something. So I think that's one of those moments where he's just decided that he is going to quit moping about his mom and just realize what it is and move on and get the message across for the belt.
Right on. So then we move over to the Rocinante, and Naomi is in the medical bay or whatnot, and she's talking to Holden, and he's all like, I couldn't listen to your final message and everything. And then she plays it for him, and they have a little, cry fest or whatnot. And then we see Avasarala has become the Secretary General again, and Monica is talking to Bobby or whatnot. They contact what's his face, that's the new pilot or whatnot, and they're like, hey, we got any missiles left? And he's like, yeah, we saved a couple. And so then they fire one at Naomi's ship, which I was like, oh, what a waste of a missile. And then we move over to Marco's ship, where he kills the belter from Drummer's ship and sends the video to Drummer and his crew. And they're all upset, rightfully so. And then first wife leaves. She's all like, I'm out. And then so does Mohawk Man. He's gone. Vanilla Ice. He's gone.
Yeah, call him Vanilla Ice.
Yeah. And then the one guy, I don't know his name either. One belter, she's all like, you come on. And he's all like, nope, I'm staying here. And Drummer's all like, you don't have to leave. And she's like, yes, I do. You did this to us, kind of thing. And she leaves, and Drummer's all upset. And I felt like the whole season was building up to show off this polyamorous family, and to be all like, oh hey, we can love whoever we want, have sex with whoever we want, because this polyamorous relationship can work. And then they just break up at the end, and I'm all like, so it doesn't work. You just prove that it doesn't, because it really doesn't in real life. Somebody gets jealous or whatnot.
Yeah. I mean, I think it worked for the most part. I just think that they let the idea of the whole family surviving. The first wife let the whole idea of them surviving, instead of realizing that Drummer's the captain and you either listen or you don't. And because she couldn't listen, and Drummer betrayed the other husband, there's so many now, and he got killed, she's kind of like that, that's the last straw. Like, Drummer doesn't really love us the way she loves Naomi. And that's why they had that conversation in previous episodes about, do you love us? And but yeah, I mean, them breaking up, I kind of seen that coming forward, just because that's a lot of cast members and stuff to keep track of, and what's going on with them.
Right on.
So
then we move over to Luna, where Amos, he's just waiting for the Rocinante to show up, and he's sitting there chit-chatting with his brother, and he's all like, I gotta go and everything. And his brother's all like, you could stay here and we could work together or something, whatnot. And he's like, no, I gotta go be with my family and everything. And then he's like, but I will have a drink with you. And then he drops the bottle of whiskey, and it falls and breaks on the ground. And they have a little laugh.
Yeah.
And then he goes to get on the Rocinante, and he sees, Holden, shakes his hand, and Naomi hugs him for a really long time because she missed him and everything. And then he talks to Holden, and he's all like, hey, I need you to be cool with something. And Holden's like, yeah, I'm cool and everything. And he's like, all right, yeah, he said he was cool or whatnot. And then he sees Peaches coming onto the ship, and he's like, what the hell? And he's like, come on, Peaches, I got to show you some stuff. And then he sees the Rocinante little plaque, and it says Alex's name on it and everything. And he like brushes his finger across it, and he's all like, oh, I miss you, Alex, kind of thing. And I liked this. I like seeing the family get back together. I have to admit, I wish that it would have happened sooner. Just because like I did feel like some of the episodes went on a little too long, especially in this back half of this season. And I wish they would have, but I don't know how the books went, so I don't know.
In the books, like so I haven't finished Nemesis games, but in the books they do split up, and you kind of get the different consciousness of a couple other characters too. So and they don't get back together until the end, I suspect.
So and then over on Luna, which we haven't left yet, sorry. They're
So I
having like
want
a
to say,
little
I was kind of wondering if they got rid of Alex's character, um, would and they hadn't recast at the time that I was thinking about this, would they? I thought maybe Bull would actually take the pilot spot on the Rocinante, and they would just write his, because he has a really small um part in the book. Because from what I've read, I don't remember him ever getting on the Rocinante like he is. But I thought maybe in the show Bull would take Alex's spot as the pilot, but then as this episode went on, I was like, oh, Peaches is going to be the new pilot for the Rocinante, because she was pilot with her sister uh Julie on the Razorback. So um yeah, it was a good scene. I really liked it.
right on. So then they're having drinks or whatever in this little Luna lobby. And everybody's chit-chatting and they're all having a good time and talking to Avasarala. And then Avasarala, Bobby's all like, madam and everything. And then Avasarala makes this big speech about the Rocinante, like, this is what the Belters do not want. They don't want us to come together and everything. And I'm all like, yeah, but there's no Martian in that little group, except for Bobby now, but I don't know if she counts as a member of the Rocinante. But then and then we flip over to Marco. What did you think about that whole scene in the speech and everything?
I thought it was okay. It was kind of I always look for these big emotional moments, because I think that it took me so long to watch this show, just because I didn't want to, track it down on what times it showed on Sci-Fi. And then when Amazon bought it, I was like, oh, you know what? I got Prime. I can watch all the seasons together or whatever. But uh they had all these great moments in the other seasons where they would make you feel some kind of emotion toward what was going on. And I thought maybe that when she started talking, that this would be one of those moments, but it really kind of had a flat note for me. But
Right on.
it was okay. It was I give it a 5. Just average moment.
Right on. So then we hop over to Marco and his little fleet. And it goes back and forth from Marco's fleet to inside this little Luna lobby. And Monica brings up the schematics of when the missiles were fired from that one ship. And you had mentioned it before. And one
Yeah,
of
if
the
you go,
missiles veered
I,
off.
yep, I read on, and there's a, I should have sent it to you. There's a guy, he breaks down each little scene, and there's a scene where when they all go out of their little spiral, all of them are yellow except for the very last one in the background. It's blue, which if you watch, the blue is kind of like the rocket going facing toward you, kind of thing. So
Right on. So that one goes off in a different direction. And they're like, could the protomolecule survived? Then the Avasarala gets a little message and she's like, Holden, come with me now. And so they get a visual of the ships, the 3 ships protecting the ring that are Earth ships and everything.
well, there's 2 Earth ships and 1 Martian Donager class.
Oh, right on. Yeah. And so the Martian ship, the ships, the Belter ships come in and they're getting ready to fire, and then they start firing at each other, yada yada yada, and then the Martians that are separated from Mars, they send down little asteroids. I believe it was the Mars people, right? It wasn't.
No. If you watch earlier previously in I don't think it was, because if you watch previous episodes, um Marco is always looking at the ring gate on his screen, and there's this line that's going toward the ring gate, this red line that he keeps watching as if he's tracking something. And I think that, and they say it's a small meteor shower covered in stealth tech. I think at the same time he sent the meteors toward Earth, he was sending this toward the gate, so he could time out an attack on the gate at the same time that the meteor shower would continue.
Right on. So then all those ships get taken out by the Belters and this new Martian fleet. And they go inside the ring, and then we go on to one of the Martian ships with that general guy. And he's talking to Marco, and he's all like, whatever, like, hey, this has been, lucrative for both of us and everything. And then he's talking to his little captain there or whatnot, and they pull up a screen, and it's a planet that was through the ring, and they use the proto molecule to start life on this planet. And you see like this big ship. Is that a Mars ship that they play, or is that like a completely new one?
No, it's a ship up in the clouds left by the builders. Because it's totally yeah, it's not Mars. It's not from Mars or Earth or anything. It's from the alien race that created the proto molecule.
Right on. So then, she's all like, "Oh, it's beautiful" or whatnot, and he's all like, "We're gonna build a Mars, but it's gonna be completely military, and any discharge or any dishonorable discharge is a bullet." And he's like, "Is that bracelet that?" Because she's got a bracelet, and he's like, "Is that military issued or whatever?" And she's like, "No, it's a bracelet from my mom." He's like, "Give it to me," kind of thing. And as she goes to hand it to him, they go through the portal, and then we see this red stuff going through the ship, and it looks like the aliens that destroyed the proto molecule aliens. And then as the ship is going through, and you just see like red, and I'm assuming that that's them getting destroyed and killed and everything.
Yeah.
And then they end it. So what did you think about that ending?
So when Marco goes through the gate, essentially what they're saying, what the Mars admiral is saying is like on their side of the gate, and I can't remember what planet they're now, or what system they're now occupying, but they have this rogue Martian fleet in this other system where they're creating their own Mars, their own terraformed Mars, if you will. And he's just saying that on the other side of that gate they have a minefield, so the Belters need to stay out of that system because it belongs to them now. That's kind of how they gave them the ships or whatever. And then now Marco has control of the slow zone, which if you control the slow zone, you control who goes and comes and goes to these other systems. So essentially, and they're doing this because the belt, and they explained this a little bit earlier in the season, the belters are just belters if they're on the belt, but not all belters can go to these planets, and after a generation they're not belters anymore. So now the belt survives because they control the commerce that comes and goes between these planets within the slow zone. And so the belters have no choice but to stay on the belt and thrive from what products they get from these other systems, because they tax what they want from them and such.
Right on. Yeah. One thing that
I did and go ahead, I'll let you go and then I'll explain the ending.
One thing that I do wish that they would have focused more on this season, instead of all of the what I felt was a big waste of time towards the back half of the season, was I wish they would have focused more on these aliens, these bad aliens that destroyed the proto molecule aliens. I really wish they would have focused on that a little bit more. Yeah, that's all I got to say about that. So go ahead with your ending.
So at the end, it's and spoiler for those of you who haven't read the book, from what I do know about the ending of the book. So earmuff it if you don't want to maybe have me spoil something for you. There are ships that keep disappearing when they go through the ring gates. Not just this one, not just the Barkeith in the show, like in the books. Other ships keep disappearing, and these aliens, if you remember from the 4th season, the aliens, they when Detective Miller shows him what destroyed the builder aliens, it shows that weird yellow snake, the orange snake stuff flying all over. And then I think that what they're showing you is that these aliens are still around. They're somewhere trapped between the void of going in and out of the slow zone or something like that. As far as not focusing on the aliens, I don't think that the authors of the books, obviously I'm not through Nemesis games yet, so I'm not so sure. I don't think the authors have wrapped up the builders and the aliens that destroyed them. So I'm not sure that we have a whole lot of answers to focus on, even though they were writers of the season. it doesn't surprise me that they kind of stayed away from that stuff, because I don't think the book itself um, had explained a whole lot either.
Right
And
on.
then I was going to ask you, did you watch the throughout the entire episode the end credits kind of scene?
No, there's an end credit scene.
So, well, it's not really a scene. So if you watch it as they're going through the name of the producer, screenwriters, all that stuff, the clouds above that planet, and I want to say it was called Laconia, but I could be wrong. They're separating and they're showing you that ship, and
Mm,
then these like blue or purple lights start lighting up throughout the ship.
mm.
So it'll be interesting to see where they go from the show into the book into the show for for what is perceived to be the final season. I hope that they don't do that, but yeah. So you get to see the ship kind of, and then it lights up a little bit, and then it cuts.
Oh, right on. I'll have to go back and look at it. All right, you guys. So that, Mona, did you have any final thoughts on this? Wait, real quick. Let's talk about this. Why did you think this was the best episode of the
Just because,
whole
like,
of the whole series?
yeah, okay. So Marco started this plan, and from the beginning of even in the book, I kept thinking to myself, why would you? This is punching up. You have an enemy that you, and mind you, I kind of knew that they were trading the proto molecule for ships and stuff. So his threat is, we have the proto molecule, we have this navy. We will, if you leave your respected atmospheres, we will destroy you or use the proto molecule against you. So they give away their only good weapon, because Earth and Mars ain't weak. They're just at a shock because they've been, sucker punched, but they can strike back
Right.
just as hard as Marco has hit them. So as soon as they find their feet, they can pull their fleets together and start just hammering on the Belters in the fleet. So at the beginning, I was kind of like, this really isn't that smart of a move, because Earth can come back at you with a good force. And then you're kind of just watching like all the little things tie together. And even though his plan got ruined a little bit with Naomi not destroying Tycho and the Rocinante, um, you kind of see his plan building up, how he kind of mastermind all this stuff. And at the end, you realize it really wasn't to just stop Earth from attacking him. It was all, you know, accumulating into, we're going to take the slow zone and we're going to occupy it. So now you have to go through it, because if you remember, Salvatore, I think his name is, at the beginning when he's at the academy, he's giving this like military lecture about controlling the slow zone and how you will control. You just need a small military force in there to control all the systems. And so now Marco, even though he was punching up at Earth and Mars, he wins. This is everybody keeps saying this is the Empire Strikes Back of the books, and it is, but essentially Marco's in control now, because he does control the slow zone with a majority of ships, and I assume he controls Medina Station as well. So I just thought it was great, and they show you the Marquise getting destroyed, had known about, and so it was just like really a good, even though as slow as the season was, and even though I didn't like Alex's death, I was kind of like, wow, it really showed a lot of emotion with Philip, Marco, and Naomi. It showed Naomi's strength surviving through all of this. Like, she really pushed herself, going out into space, you get radiation burns. Oh, I found out that was oxygenated blood that she injected herself with in space. But, she goes through all these hardships, and she still pulls herself together. Her friends the Rocinante crew are willing to do anything to save each other. It was just a really great, everything just tied in together. And I was like, this is just really the best episode of the series. Like, I really enjoyed it. It had action, great graphics and everything. The acting was superb. So it was the best episode.
Gotcha. Okay, well, we'll agree to disagree. But yeah, all right. Well, you guys, that is our season finale of season 5 of the Expanse breakdown and review. Tell us, what did you guys think about this episode? Did you like this episode? Did you not like this episode? What was your favorite part? Who's your favorite character? You can go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. Make sure to join us for our season 5 review, where we'll be joined by another one of our friends. And you can leave all your comments in that section down below. Like I just said, if you like this video, go and hit that like button. I won't mind. Marlon, you won't mind either.
I won't mind.
All right. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And we will see you guys on the next video. You guys have a good day. Bye.